Hello, and welcome back to Can We Talk with Juel podcast, proudly sponsored by fundraisingcup.org Ministries. Today, we are here with a good friend of mine, Mr. Charles Amir Pinkman. I
Yeah.
go way back with this gentleman, and I'm so honored that he's made time in his very busy schedule to be broadcasted here on my podcast today. Welcome, Charles.
Thanks for having me, Jewel. Anytime you call, there's nothing. I'm nothing but a phone call away.
Oh my goodness. I'm gonna tell you guys a little inside behind the scenes secret about meeting my dear friend Charles. We both have a background in anti-money laundering compliance. Now Charles, he's a little bit more seasoned than me in terms of experience in many areas, including oh my goodness, Charles has just done a little bit of everything. Um, so he's well known in the field and also in a array of areas in banking. And when I met Charles, I was actually pregnant with my last child. And those of you ladies that know about maternity issues, which I had to deal with him, can understand the blessing that Sir Charles was in my life when he introduced me to moringa. And it helped me tremendously because at that time I suffered with a lot of back pains and all kinds of aches, ladies. You know the deal when you're carrying so many pounds. My little boy was about 9 pounds, 4 ounces, and he was a heavy guy. And Sir Charles came to the rescue with some blended juices for me on a daily basis. I supported his business, Golden
hmm
Moringa USA. And I'm looking forward to having him share with you guys a little bit about his business and himself because he's instrumental to our community.
Thanks for those kind words, Jewel. Yeah, Jewel, we go back a long, like it's been some time, and that's a beautiful thing that we're still here, right? And healthy.
Yes,
You know,
sir. Yes,
what is living if you're not healthy? You know,
yes.
so that's so very important. But just a little bit about me. I have a banking experience of over 20 plus years in the banking space. Um, I have 20 plus years in homeopathic holistic medicine. I started my business, Golden Moringa USA, in the middle of 2000s. I also have a herbal tea business called Golden Leaf Teas as well. But what we do is we try to educate first and foremost on the difference between having a prescription medicine versus something that's homeopathic, holistic, which is something natural. Just think about this. You know, before there were pharmaceutical companies, before there were drugs, how were our ancestors healing themselves? How were our ancestors living to the age that they were? Because 50, 60, 70, we're saying that's old now. But our ancestors were living in their hundreds because of how they lived, how they ate, how they healed themselves naturally. You know, a lot of us have gotten away from that, and a lot of us are starting to lean towards that. You see, anytime you watch a program, you can watch this sit with your family and watch a TV show for an hour. You get 13 minutes of drug commercials. So now that plays with your subconscious, right? Oh, I got a knee. I'm my knees, my ache. I got an ache of pain here. You go to the doctors, they say you have something. And now before you know it, you're taking that prescription drug. Now you got some other issues that you never think it's as prescription medicine. And anytime you go to the doctors and they prescribe a prescription med, I tell everyone to do your due diligence. Just take the prescription, go home, or while you're waiting, pull it up on your phone and do whatever that drug is, side effects. Now you have the side effects of what it's going to cause your body to go through that particular change. Some of the side effects are as harsh as death. I'll give you an example. We know a lot of people that are diabetic. That's a household name now, diabetes. The household drug, the second largest producing drug in this country, is called metformin, outside of Lipitor for high cholesterol. Metformin, okay, if you Google it, side effects, the first thing that comes up in bold letters, death. But they continue to tell you to keep taking this. And a lot of us don't do our own due diligence. So you got to fault yourself on some of these cases, because who knows your body better than you? No one. You do. You know, in this temple that we're renting for this short period of time, you need to know exactly what you're putting in your body more now than ever. Not just the prescription drugs, it's also the food. A lot of the foods that we're eating is not real food. These are lab-made foods. These are lab-made fish. They're taking think about this, Ju. When's the last time you seen a green seeded grape? It's been over 10 years. They've taken the seeds out of the grapes. Grapes are one of the most important things that a person could have if you have cancer. It's one of the top cancer killing fruits that are on the market, but it's in the seed. It's in the seed. Watermelon, they got seedless watermelons. They got seedless lime and lemon. These are all nutritional. So just think about somebody modifying something that's been natural, the whole existence of that fruit and vegetable being absorbed. Think about that. You got to be a little different to say, I'm gonna create something, but I'm gonna take out the seeds so I can control, how this particular fruit or vegetable works. So those are some of the things that we do a lot of festivals. I'm going to give you a list. We do 25 to 30 different events from the start of March all the way to the end of October, which is really a good time to be out. Meet a lot of different people, a lot of different energy, a real exciting time. We have going into our second part of our festivals starting in August. We have another 15 to do here in the Atlanta metro area. So folks always come out to that, which is very important. But what I also wanted to do is I wanted to share a couple things, a couple of our products that I know that the whole community is lacking. Most of our diagnosis for high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, anything that has to do with having a prescription med is due to the fact that we're mineral deficient more now than ever, especially melanated people. A lot of us don't get enough sunshine. We're scared of the sun. The sun is our natural healing. We've been taught to stay in the house when the sun's out. Look at the people that come from hot climates. They're in the sun every day, all day, every day. We come from a hot climate. African people come from hot climates. We're not from the cold climate. We're from the hot climate. That's what gives us our melanin, our DNA. Your pineal gland helps to heal you. That third eye, everyone doesn't have that. We do. We're the blessed ones with that. But in saying that, I want to share one of our products. It's called Super Mineral Plus. Super Mineral Plus, you can get it at www.goldenmoringa.USA. Super Mineral Plus is a mineral that has multiple minerals for the body. I'll give you a couple of what's in here. You got vitamin A, B, C, D, E, calcium, magnesium, iodine, zinc, selenium, amino acid, chlorella, niacin, copper, magnesium, chromium, potassium, bromelain, cat's claw. These are just certain herbs that we need every single day. The body needs 500 milligrams of magnesium every day. The body needs vitamin D every day, right? We're not getting that. We're not getting it in our food. We know that. We're not getting it in our food. So this is a supplement, but we also do have it in a tea. But the name of this one is our sweet potato leaves tea. Just think about it. Everybody is familiar with sweet potatoes, right? But we just eat the sweet potato, and we, it's a good staple for our plate, our meal, right? And we like the sweet potato pies, sweet potatoes with our food, however we eat our sweet potatoes. But the nutrients is in the leaf. So Let me give you a couple things that the sweet potato leaves do. They call it a superfood, Juel.
Mm-hmm.
Vitamin A, B1, B2, B3, B5, B6, B12, C, D, E, K, copper, iron, potassium, calcium, zinc, protein, um, oxidative stress, chlorophyll. It's full of. It's good for your eye health. It's good for your heart. It's good for cancerous. Lowers your blood pressure. Good for your mental health. It supports a healthy gut. The sweet potatoes, you don't even have to eat them in a tea. You can take the leaves and you can add it to your meal. You can put it on your on, like, for instance, if you're making a salad, you can add the leaves to your salad. So there's so many different types of things that we take for granted that we have in our homes or we pass at the grocery store that we don't really pay attention to because it hasn't been taught to us. We've never tried it, or we don't have a lack of information about these particular products that are really good for the body overall. But everyone should make sure that their mineral deficiency is at its lowest level because most of us are mineral deficient, our
Yeah.
children as well as us as adults. The majority of African American women that are coming down with cancer, when they did their diagnosis, they were vitamin D deficient. If they had vitamin D levels where they need to be, they said they stand a chance of over 60% of the women coming down with cancer would not have cancer. Just think about that number. So we're talking, just say 10. For every 10 women, if they had the proper vitamin D, 6 of them would not have cancer. That's a large number to think about. So,
That is.
so there's some few things I just wanted to share with you. But I wanted to share some of these dates we got coming up, Juel, with your
Yes,
audience.
please do.
August the 16th, we are going to be at the Decatur Pan African Festival. That's on a Saturday, downtown Decatur. They're blocking off the street. They do it every year, and that starts from 12 to 8 p.m. August the 23rd through the 24th, we will be at Atlantic Station. That's downtown Atlanta. That's the open air mall. They call it the Creators Market. On Saturday, we'll be there from 10 to 9. On Sunday, we'll be there from 12 to 6. September the 5th, 6th, and 7th, we will be back at Atlantic Station. That's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, same hours. September the 12th and 13th, we will be in Lawrenceville, downtown Lucky Street Park for the International Night Market. That's the 12th from 5 to 10, and on the 13th from noon to 10 at night. And then on September the 20th, we're going to be doing the Peachtree Corner Street Festival. That's Saturday and Sunday. From Saturday is from 10 to 6, and Sundays from 12 to 6 p.m.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Charles, you shared a very interesting story with me on how you came about looking into your health as well as helping other people with their health. And I would love if you can share that story with our audience because I know many of us have dealt with some issues with outside vendors and
Hmm.
doing some unsavory things with
Hmm.
our food. I
Yeah.
spoke about that on several podcasts before, but I would love if you could reiterate
Oh,
um,
absolutely.
that
Absolutely.
occurrence.
So my journey was this. In 1991, I relocated to Charlotte, North Carolina. I used to work for AT&T when I moved south. And my first week there, um, I went downstairs first thing in the morning and I got breakfast. I got an egg omelet with cheese. I never forget that day. And that day, if you think about in the 90s, they weren't wearing no rubber gloves.
No.
They weren't wearing no rubber gloves. The gentleman behind the counter was by himself. He was the cook. He took the orders and he checked you out because he was the only one there. When he got to my order, he had just finished taking care of someone else's order, but he used a wash rag, cleaned off the tray, came back, put my cheese on the omelet. excuse me, Jew, by the time I got up to my desk, I was in a fetus position underneath my desk. I came down, they rushed me to the hospital. They diagnosed me with food poison. And that's fast of a second. The body went through that quickly of a change. Food poison. And if anybody's ever had food poison, you know that's not a good feeling, right? And I don't wish that on anybody. So when I got there, at the hospital, they said, well, Mr. Pinkman, we can give you this, 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 and this. I was like, no, I know my body. I'd rather just this. I could go home, and I called my family, and I was fortunate that my parents. We used to have a homeopathic doctor, and we had a traditional doctor. He came down, he ran a blood test, and he seen bacteria had had been found on my bladder, bacteria, and it was from the wash rag, and it attacked me that quickly, right? So from there, he said, listen, you know, you want to do a detox to get all this bacteria out of your system because even though you feel well, there's still bacteria on your internal walls. You want to flush that out of your body. And that was the start of me doing a detox. And that was the start for me educating myself, going back to school to get my certification as a certified nutrition. And then when I moved to Georgia, I was fortunate enough to meet a young lady at the gym, and she had terminal cancer. And she told me, I asked her, well, what's wrong with you now? She said she was cured here in Georgia. And I said, well, how did that happen? She told me she met this doctor that used to work at Emory Hospital. He had been there for a long time, Asian doctor, and he made a house call. And he asked her, how important to you is living? And I took that from him because I asked my customers the same thing. And she said, I have a lot of life to live, and I have family that I love, and I still want to be here. So he ended up taking her to the Amazon with two other doctors. He ended up leaving Emory Hospital to open up his own personal clinic. So make a long story short, they went down to the Amazon area in Brazil. I don't know if you've ever heard of this fruit called the acai berry, but it only harvests in Brazil. Make a long story short, she was down there for 3 months. She came back here, went back to Emory, where they diagnosed her with terminal cancer because they had sent her home to die. She went back, ran the same tests, not a cancer in her body. She went public, went to the news stations, let the news stations know what happened. They came after the doctor and tried to put him in prison, try to shut him down. So I said, I want to meet him. Can I meet him? So she introduced me to him, and he took a liking to me because I had a lot of questions. But one of my major questions for him was, what made you change for you going to school for all those years to be a traditional doctor and practicing over 20 some odd years as a traditional doctor? And as clear as we're talking to each other, he said, young man, the reason why I changed is because every time I wrote out a prescription, I know my customer was going to die from a slow death. Because as we know, prescription drugs don't heal anything. They don't, right? So he told me, next time you go to your doctor, ask him this simple question. How many people have you healed in the last 60 days? It's zero, because they're not in the business of healing. They're in the business of basically putting a Band-Aid on something that could be preventable or healed naturally. And that was the start, Juel, for me, starting my business, asking him about different herbs that I should have in my store, on my site, and just starting to educate, bought a lot of different books, about health and nutrition, went to seminars. I've been to different countries just to see how they harvest different fruits and vegetables that I have on my site that I sell and I take myself. And it's been a beautiful journey for those that continue to support the new customers that we take on from day to day, or people just calling, asking how can they get better. Because we always say, I'm not trying to sell you anything, but what I am trying to do is make you aware on how you can be healthy outside of what you've been taught. You know, um, Another thing that's very important to me is cancer. It's becoming, you know, a normal conversation. And it used to be a death wish, if you had cancer. It's no longer a death wish if you know what you're doing and you know what herbs and how to change your diet, because it's nothing but a parasite that turns into a tumor. Parasites are basically destroying the internal body. There's several different types of parasites, and what it does is strangles the circulation, and they feed off of sugar. And some are very small. Some parasites are longer than the length of your body. It just depends on what type of food that you eat. Do you ever detox? Do you ever do a parasite cleanse? Do you ever do a liver cleanse? These are some of the things that we need to do, because of the types of foods that are on in the grocery stores that we're buying. Think about the pesticides. Look at the fruit. If you buy fruits and vegetables, you should be doing two things as soon as you decide you want to eat them. Put them in a big pot with water. Add baking soda and vinegar. Let it sit in there for 5 or 10 minutes. Look and see what that water looks like. And if you're just saying, okay, I'm just eating it, you're putting all that in your body and it's causing other different types of issues and health problems to the body. You got to clean your food. I grow a lot of my fruits and vegetables that we do in my yard, but we still clean our fruits and vegetables. You know, that should be a given for all of us. Anything that you buy and you consume it, you should wash. Another thing to stay away from, I would say, anything that's farm raised. If you're eating fish, stay away from any farm raised fish. The deadliest one that's farm raised is salmon. Salmon is a deadly farm raised fish. That has parasites. So beef, chicken, know where you're getting it from. Know how it's harvested. Ask questions. If they can't answer the questions, there's another place down the street selling what you need. You know, so these are some of the things we have to do our due diligence on, right? Not just for ourselves, for our children. Those who are coming, because when we know better, we do better, right? And if you know these things, you're able to pass these down to our children. So now it becomes a way of life for them. So when they take on a mate or they talk to some of their friends or people they meet, they can tell them, guess what? I do this, and this is why I feel this way. This is why I look this way. This is why I've never had to take this, is because these are the certain things that I was taught from my mom or my dad. Yeah. So a friend one of my good friends, his name is Phil. We do a podcast. It's called Wake Up Everybody. And we talk about health and nutrition, as well as we talk about everyday life, things that are affecting us, directly and indirectly. So I enjoy it. Our customers enjoy it. Our friends enjoy it. Just good conversation, right? Things that we want to talk about is, generational wealth, how we can teach our children, loved ones, how we can pass down what we work so hard for and then make their life a little easier. We talk about, again, health and nutrition. I always do a herb or a tea of the day, of the week, like I shared with you today. Our website is www.goldenmoringausa.com. And our other website is www.goldenleafteas.com. If you don't have to buy anything, but if you do go to the website, you put in your email, we do send out newsletters and we do let you know the different events that we do. We also do a 30-minute free consultation. Doesn't cost you a dime, where you can talk about what things you want to improve on your overall health, or how you want to get off a prescription med, or if you decide, I want to lose weight, I want to tone up, I want this, whatever you got going on, we try to direct you on how you can achieve those goals. And it's a free consultation. You just click on the link and you select the time, and then we take it from there. Anything after 30 minutes is $50 an hour.
Very generous.
Thank you, Juel.
you sharing all of that.
Yes, yes, yes. Definitely. I would love to return. Absolutely.
Great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So then the next invite, we'll talk about a different subject. Okay then. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day, Joe.
Take care. Bye bye.
Take care now.